But these are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Tonight, President John Dramani Mahama directs the National Investigations Bureau to investigate allegations of corruption in award of foreign scholarships.
And also coming up tonight, administrative work at public universities grind to a halt as Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana declare a nationwide strike effective today, Tuesday, February 3.
Later in the bulletin, weeks after violent mob attack on Kwame Danso Police Station and District Court, 2 facilities remain closed. Tonight, we'll tell you how this is affecting residents.
Coming up in business news, Ghana Revenue Authority inaugurates compliance and enforcement team to bolster revenue above current 40% of the taxpayer base.
On the international front, Sudanese army say it has broken a year-long siege on the city of Kadugli, potentially providing tens of thousands of people a reprieve from famine and strife. We are live around the world on 3news.com. We are also streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, and your messages are always welcome.
The news now in detail, and President John Mahama has directed the National Investigations Bureau to immediately investigate allegations of corruption into the award of foreign scholarship. A video which has since gone viral on some social media platforms has, according to the presidency, courted public attention, demanding a swift and thorough investigation in accordance with government stance against corruption and its commitment to transparency. TV3 sources which have intercepted the directive to the NIB has tasked the Bureau to establish the factual basis of this allegation and submit findings for appropriate action. Let me now give you details about this investigation. Now, the decision by the presidency follows allegations by the former Chief Executive Officer of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, that NEIP, Kofi Owusu-Nkansah, that current officials under the Mahama administration are selling scholarships to the tune of 100,000 cedis. And government says that these allegations are of important public concern in light of transparency and equal access to opportunities. And we have intercepted this report, and the president has directed the NIB to establish the factual basis of this allegation and submit the findings to the presidency.
On to some other stories. The Senior Staff Association of the Universities of Ghana has declared an indefinite strike across the public universities. The action follows what the union describes as unilateral changes to their conditions of service by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission.
According to the union, a 2021 collective agreement allows senior staff in public universities to receive overtime allowance. All universities implemented the policy until May last year, when the University of Ghana stopped the payment.
The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has touched our condition of service, which the two of us have agreed. They have unilaterally changed it and imposing something different on us. The fear is that what they have started, it started from Legon. Legon started it. Now it's spreading to other universities. Now UDS has also started, UHAS has started. And if you don't take care, it will spread to all the other campuses. And we can't wait for such a thing to happen.
The association is also demanding payment of outstanding Tier 2 pension contributions for August to November 2024, despite government paying for 2025.
We are taking our money because that is what we invest and get something home when we retire. So government, I don't think this one should even take a day for government to do. Well, I don't think it's any huge money that government cannot pay. And it's our money too.
The third concern involves staff of the University of Media Arts and Communications, UNIMAC, who were underpaid for years after the institution was upgraded to a full public university. The association says, although staff have now been placed on the correct salary scale, government must negotiate and pay their arrears. The strike is expected to disrupt non-teaching operations across public universities.
From cleaning to office administration to accounts, basic school, security, library, the labs, hospital, everything will be affected. Because they are all members. If we have been listened to, we wouldn't have gotten to where we have gotten to. And as I'm saying, we are not happy declaring strike because it affects us. But where it has gotten to, if we don't put our feet on the ground, we don't know what next they will also be touching.
The Teachers and Educational Workers Union of the Trades Union Congress, TUC, and the Federation of University Senior Staff Association of Ghana, FUSAG, have also joined the strike.
The news team was at the University of Ghana, where union leaders were seen moving from office to ensure compliance with the strike directive.
According to the leadership of the Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana, the decision to strike was unavoidable after repeated engagement with government yielded no results.
It has to do with our condition of service. It is a document that we have negotiated and agreed with government. And this document contains a number of items, of which overtime is one of them. And from last year, the University of Ghana decided to vary that condition of service by saying that they will not pay the overtime to deserving workers. They will rather pay call-in allowance because they have had information from government that they shouldn't pay senior staff overtime allowance whenever they work beyond regular hours. We pray they listen to us quickly, and then we also pray that the parents who have brought their children to the university just a few weeks ago that we have finished with the registration, they should speak up and let whatever we are asking for be given to us so that we can take care of their children, because their children have come here to study, and without us, work will not go on.
Security, go!
Hours after the declaration, union leaders moved through offices and lecture halls to ensure full compliance with the directive. From one office to another, members were asked to vacate their post with immediate effect. At the accounts office, students who had queued to pay their fees were left stranded as services were withdrawn.
I'm supposed to graduate on the 16th of February, and then they say that I'm owing 61 cedis, which if I don't pay, I will not be able to graduate, so that's why I'm here. So I'll have to come here so they will attend to me, and they are saying they are on strike, yes, so I don't know how I'm going to graduate, that's why I'm here.
The leadership later moved to other departments, warning that members who failed to comply with the strike directive would face sanctions. The Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana represents administrative and professional staff across public universities. Their demands include improved conditions of service, salary adjustments, and the implementation of previously agreed policies. Until government responds, the union insists the strike will remain in force, raising concerns about prolonged disruptions to academic and administrative activities nationwide.
A government through the Transport Ministry is proposing a new bill to rename the Kotoka International Airport back to Accra International Airport. Majority Leader Mahama Ayariga, addressing a joint news conference with his minority counterpart, made the announcement as part of the bills government intends to introduce.
Yeah, so the Minister for Transport will bring Maritime and Related Offences Bill, road traffic regulations to deal with the Okada legalization and the discipline that is needed on the roads by Okada riders and tricycle riders, and then the Ghana Shippers Council regulations. And we are changing the name of our airport from Kotoka International Airport to Accra International Airport. So The bill will be brought by the Minister for Transport for the name of the airport to be changed from Kotoka International Airport to Accra International Airport. So the Accra International Airport bill will also come, and then they will ask us to approve some international bilateral agreements and multilateral agreements for them.
Right, so that is one of the many bills this current administration intends to make changes to, but definitely they will need parliamentary backing to do that. And let me take you through the other sectors that are likely to see some changes to them in terms of specific areas that they operate in. So you just heard him talk about the transport sector, where the Kotoka International Airport is to be renamed to its initial name, which is the Accra International Airport. Also, the road traffic regulation is expected to be sent to Parliament to give effect to the Okada law. Then in the energy sector, a bill to merge the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, and the Energy Commission to form what would now be known as the Ghana Energy Regulatory Commission. Another bill to enact a new National Petroleum Authority Act. Then there is also a consideration for a program to involve private sector in electricity distribution. When it comes to issues of defense, there's a proposal to transform the Defense Industries Holding Company Limited, DHOC. Also, a bill to establish a defense university so that existing schools, which are all under the Ministry of Defense, will come under one new university. For tourism, there is a bill expected in Parliament which will establish what is known as the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park and Bureau of Ghana Languages as an authority. So these two institutions become authorities. For the Ministry of Environment, a legislative instrument to control noise pollution from various sources to protect human health, and then again, regulation to regulate the standards of paint. Under the Health Ministry, they are expecting a new regulation on breastfeeding promotion and alcohol control, regulation to give effect to the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, which NDC campaigned on strongly. It's known as the Mahama Cares. And then also there's a regulation expected for the National Vaccine Institute. The housing sector, they are looking forward to a bill to overhaul the housing rental sector. And education, a new bill is expected for the Ghana Book Development Council, a bill to amend Colleges of Education Act, and then another bill to establish a Center for Distance Learning. And the Attorney General, when it comes to legal issues, they are looking forward to a bill for conduct of public officers. Then there's a proposal to establish a new IOCO Act, legal profession bill to complement legal education reforms in the country. And that has actually had its first reading in the House. Still in the Attorney General, there's a tribunals bill and then the amendment to Supreme Court, High Court, and Court of Appeal rules. So it looks like Parliament is going to be very busy in the first few days of its resumption from the Christmas break.
In more news tonight, the Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, has rejected government's proposed sliding scale mineral royalty regime, saying it doesn't fix Ghana's deeper mining sector problems. The think tank argues the Lands Ministry is clinging to an outdated colonial-era royalty system that continues to keep Ghanaians poor. The IEA is calling instead for a new mining policy based on national ownership and stronger local participation.
Government, through the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, recently proposed a sliding scale mineral royalty regime for the country's mining sector. However, it quickly withdrew the draft from Parliament following backlash and accusations that the plan favors foreign interests while keeping Ghanaians poor. The Institute of Economic Affairs says the proposal sticks to an outdated colonial-era system and is calling instead for a new mining policy based on full national ownership and stronger local participation.
IEA has noted with deep concern the provisions contained in the draft Minerals and Mining Royalty Regulations 2025, currently before Parliament. The said draft regulations maintain the colonial royalty-based regime with either a sliding scale or capped system. The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources is still propagating the old colonial royalty-based paradigm. Ghana's current royalty regime is both inequitable and short-sighted, delivering only a fraction, a bare fraction of the potential value embedded in its natural resource endowment. The IEA, therefore, unequivocally rejects the minister's proposed truncated sliding scale.
According to former Chief Justice Sophia Ikufu, assertions that Ghana lacks the technical capacity to manage its resources are unfounded.
The IEA also rejects assertions that are commonly made when people are trying to support the Gettysburg model, that Ghana lacks the technical capacity, capital, or expertise to manage its resources. Really, technology is also not an innate advantage. It can be purchased, leased, or acquired through partnerships. Ghana possesses the knowledge, the expertise, the means, the mineral, the wealth to reclaim control of its natural resources. What has been lacking is the political will to act decisively.
For his part, former Speaker of Parliament Professor Aaron Michael Quay demanded more from government in its handling of such agreements.
Royalties were Gikodidi, and so many years after independence, we want to continue with Gikodidi. Until when? The Dubai that we go to from time to time. All these countries who have got far with their oil, is that how they manage this? Did they just give it all away to some foreigners and then took royalties? The answer clearly is no.
Well, it's a conversation that will continue for a bit. But let me take you now to Kwame Danso in the Sena West District of the Bono East region, where it has been weeks since a violent mob attack by residents on the district police station and the district court. Correspondent Belinda Tete was in the area and reports that the two facilities are yet to reopen as residents lament the impact on their lives.
Unrest dates back to long-standing tensions between local farmers and herders. These tensions eventually boiled over, prompting some youth groups to storm the district police station and the district court. The aftermath was devastating. Security personnel were forced to flee for their lives, and both facilities were extensively vandalized. Chiefs, elders, and community leaders at Kwame Danso have condemned the actions of the youth. Today, the vacuum left behind has triggered a ripple effect of challenges for residents.
Ever since
the police station was closed, it's been from one theft situation to another, especially when there's light out. Because of that, we are always anxious. They first stole the equipment I used for cooking. The second time they came, they completely destroyed my structure.
Without a functioning court, legal disputes remain frozen, while response times for emergencies have been severely compromised.
At the moment, we have some operational men at Lalai. They are the ones who have been taking temporary security situation within the town.
The district chief executive for Sena West confirms that the district security council, DISEC, is working to mend the fragile relationship between farmers and herders. However, the primary concern remains the return of permanent law enforcement to the area.
We have put in place some measures to ensure that the farmer cattle struggle that has been there, at least we can stop it. So only appeal this. We still need our police back, and we need our courts to back.
In an effort to fast-track the restoration of these essential services, the Riasi Traditional Council has mobilized resources to renovate the damaged facilities.
We try as much as
to look at the damages that caused to renovate and then go back to government to ask for pardon.
For residents of Kwame Danso, the pardon they seek is not only for the youth who caused the distraction, but for an entire community now living without the protection of the law. Belinda Tese, TV3 News, Kwame Danso.
And away from the Bono East region, Ghana may be one of the most peaceful countries in West Africa, but security experts are warning that peace is not something to be taken for granted. With rising pressures along the country's northern borders and growing social and economic stress within communities, government has launched a new data-driven initiative aimed at preventing violent extremism before it takes root.
For years, Ghana has stood out as a pillar of stability in West African region where violent extremism has claimed thousands of lives. According to the Global Terrorism Index, West Africa remains one of the fastest growing hotspots for extremist activities, with attacks concentrated mainly in the Sahel but edging closer to the coastal states.
The Drive Index comes as a tool to build on all of that experience and expertise and knowledge on the ground. What it helps to do is to measure exactly the social dynamics that lead individuals or communities to go towards violent extremism or to be able to resist it and to work with the state. And so at the end of the day, the data will allow all of these Ghanaian actors to be more effective in their interventions, in their efforts, because they will know exactly in a given district what are the stressors, what are the vulnerabilities that they have to address, what are the resilience capacities that they can build on to make a change.
While Ghana is yet to record extremist attacks, security officials say warning signs are emerging, ranging from cross-border pressures in the north to youth unemployment, institutional distrust, and uneven access to basic services. These early warning signs that Drive initiative seeks to understand and address. Rather than relying on assumption, the Drive Index uses community-level data to measure how resilient or vulnerable different communities are to extremist influence. It looks at everyday realities, whether people trust state institutions, whether young people feel included, whether public services work, and how communities relate to security agencies. Evidence from Côte d'Ivoire, where Drive was piloted in border communities, reveal that resilience is not the same everywhere. Communities with stronger trust in local authorities, better youth inclusion, and access to services were significantly less vulnerable to extremist recruitment than neighboring communities facing social exclusion and weak governance.
It's a cutting-edge, evidence-based decision-making tool designed to help the state and its partners to understand what makes communities resilient or vulnerable to violent extremism influences. By combining community perceptions, psychosocial factors, governance indicators, and development realities, Drive gives us something we often lack. That is clear, localized, and actionable data.
For Ghana, the stakes are high. Nearly 60% of the population is under the age of 25, and experts say youth exclusion remains one of the strongest risk factors for radicalization across the region. The Drive initiative offers a dual advantage, helping authorities target prevention efforts in high-risk areas while also serving as a national tool to track social cohesion.
The Comptroller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, Samuel Amadou Basingtali, says discussions are underway with the government of Niger to curb the influx of its citizens who have become a nuisance on Ghana's streets. He made the disclosure when he received 20 pickup vehicles from the Interior Minister Muntaka Mubarak to boost the service's operations.
In May 2025, the Ghana Immigration Service conducted raids across Accra, detaining over 2,200 undocumented foreign nationals, primarily from Niger, who were involved in street begging. Since that exercise, the issue has persisted, with more of these beggars still on the streets of Accra and other major towns across the country. The Controller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, Samuel Amadou Basintali, stressed that a growing presence of these beggars is a serious concern and measures are being taken to address it.
This issue of beggars that you find, it is our border communities. You know, per the ECOWAS protocol, they live in these communities and the next day they are on the streets. Ghanaians are hosting them in their homes. And that is what we are talking about. In their country, begging is not an offense, but it is here. And as we speak today, we all know the challenges in Niger. Most of them are Nigerians. They are actually fleeing from real founded fear. The only challenge is the streets that they stand to beg. But we are looking at a solution to it. Yes, we have been talking to the Nigerian government on how best to handle them, because take it or leave it, they are ECOWAS nationals and they are entitled to be here.
The Minister for Interior, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, revealed that technology is being explored to strengthen border protection against criminals and external threats.
We are engaging a number of IT firms to help us. I mean, there's one that has gone way advanced up to we are even currently around value for money at the Ministry of Finance. When that comes on board, they are going to be giving even mobile devices, so that when you meet people, you can simply scan them, and through the scan, you'll be able to tell whether this person is on your watch list or stop list, or this is an interested person that we are looking for. Is it a terrorist? Is it somebody of interest? So that is being done.
He admitted the fleet is not yet sufficient, but assured that more vehicles will be deployed before the end of the year.
Currently, we are working on their regional offices, and we are working on about 7 at a go. We are very hopeful, maybe by the course of this year, that 7 will come on board. And that will be a huge relief to the operations that they are carrying. So we are not going to wait until we have money to fix any of them. Border fire, prison, police, narcotics control. Government cannot do it alone. I mean, we have no doubt about that. We are very clear on our mind. Private sector actors help us to keep our country safe.
The Controller General confirmed that the pickups have already been assigned across the regions.
In more news tonight, as cocoa farmers across Ghana continue to grapple with months of unpaid earnings, frustration has given way to fear. Since November 2025, many farmers have yet to receive payment for beans they delivered, and the silence is growing louder. So how did we get here, and what does this mean for the future of Ghana's cocoa sector? Wisdom Safo has more.
For cocoa farmers across Ghana, the season began with promise but ended in silence. The beans were delivered, the payment never came.
It is a very serious disaster on the side of we the farmers. There's a lot of budget that we have raised, thinking about our kids going to school, paying their fees, and then also a little bit projects that it is on our face that we are supposed to execute. We have not been able to do that. So it has made the situation very difficult for us to live.
At the center of the crisis is Cocoa Board's debt, now at $20.6 billion, even after restructuring in 2025. Years of subsidies, stalled projects, and mounting losses have pushed the board to its financial limit. In a major shift, Cocoa Board dropped its traditional syndicated loan model, once worth $1.3 billion, and turned to international cocoa buyers for upfront payment. The plan was to collect 60% in advance. Only $500 million came through. The cash shortfall was immediate. Buying companies could not operate. Farmers were left without pay. Then came the crash. Cocoa prices dropped by 60% in a single year. Confidence collapsed and revenue followed. Cocoa exports fell sharply in the second half of 2025. In August, Ghana earned just $392 million compared to $1.6 billion earlier that year. Cocoa now contributes just 12.4% of Ghana's total exports. Gold has climbed to more than 67%. The money stopped, the market shifted, the system failed, and the farmers at the core of Ghana's rural economy were left carrying the weight. According to Deputy Managing Director of PBC, Thomas Eyisikuma, the government is in high-level meetings to decide whether to absorb the financial blow or reduce the producer price.
The government is ready to
So it's a decision Cocoa Board and probably government Ministry of Finance will have to take, whether to reduce producer price to a level that is appreciable to off-takers, or government is ready to absorb the cost that will result from the purchase of cocoa at the current producer price level. I think the meetings that are going on, as Nana Oboahen mentioned, is something that is going to come out with a clear path for us to get out of this quagmire. We at LDC are all waiting for the response from Cocoa Board.
Whatever decision is made, one thing is certain: Ghana must take a hard look at its cocoa sector. The farmers cannot wait much longer, and the country cannot afford to lose what has always been one of strongest roots.
We have business news coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
The Commissioner of the Domestic Tax Revenue Division of the GRA and Chair of the 26-member team, Dr. Martin Yamborija, noted that tax enforcement is not intended as punishment.
It is about fairness. When everyone pays what is due under the law, the burden is shared equitably. Honest businesses are protected for unfair competition, and government is better equipped to provide essential service to our citizens. This team brings together skilled officers with specialized expertise in audit, investigation, intelligence, legal enforcement, and taxpayer service.
The Commissioner General explained the rationale behind the focus on VAT compliance and enforcement.
VAT as a consumption tax. As the population grows and we consume more, potential to raise revenue is there. That's the key one. The potential for VAT, if it is 100%, today we are only achieving 40%. That will mean that there's a gap of 60% that we need to fill to bring in the revenue, and that gap is huge.
Now, Cuts International has raised concerns that recent policy rate cuts are not benefiting ordinary consumers, largely due to Ghana's cash and carry system. The consumer advocacy group says that although the Bank of Ghana has reduced the policy rate from above 20% last year to 15.5%, households are yet to see improved access to credit.
At the start of 2025, the policy rate stood at 27%. By the end of the year, it had dropped sharply to 18%, followed by a further 250 basis point cut. The announcement has been welcomed by the business community. But speaking to 3 Business, West African Regional Director of Cuts International, Kusi Adomako, said Ghana's credit framework needs urgent review to ensure low and middle income earners benefit from monetary policy decisions.
If you want to buy anything, you need to have cash. And so when the policy rate goes down, it's good and it helps those in the formal sector who are on a regular income. Of course, the banks are also going to play around the reduced policy rate. It's good, but I don't think that it benefits so much of the people at the bottom, because for them, they need cash to buy cement, they need cash to buy roofing sheet, they need cash to buy everything. I mean, if you are borrowing from the bank, then that would have been good for you, but only few Ghanaians have access to borrowing money from the banks.
Ecobank Ghana and the State Housing Company have entered into a partnership aimed at expanding access to affordable housing for Ghanaians. The collaboration is expected to support housing developments while providing flexible financing options for prospective homeowners.
Access to decent and affordable housing remains a major challenge for many Ghanaians. In a move to help bridge this gap, Ecobank Ghana and the State Housing Corporation have signed a partnership agreement to support housing delivery across the country. The partnership brings together Ecobank's financial strength and the State Housing Corporation's mandate to develop affordable housing units. Ecobank says the agreement will provide tailored mortgage and housing finance solutions to make home ownership more accessible, especially for middle-income earners.
Our job as a bank is to provide financing that's affordable within the reach of Ghanaians. When you look at the cost of homes in Ghana today, it's really out of reach of most salaried workers. However, State Housing is stepping in, and I've seen some of the prices that they have on their homes, and I believe that it will make Ghanaians happy.
Deputy Managing Director of the State Housing Company, Samuel Atukwe, said the partnership will accelerate housing projects and contribute to reducing Ghana's housing deficits.
Some of the middle-income earners and the low-income earners have problems with financing their housing. And so what we decided to do is to look for mortgage financing, at least so that some of those people in that catchment area can have some hope. And with this partnership, the prices would even be more cheaper.
Both institutions believe the collaboration will not only boost housing delivery, but also stimulate economic activity within the construction and real estate sectors.
This is mortgage financing. Ecobank will come on board with resources available so that you can pay and then we'll give you the house, and then you can pay those loans over a period of time. And so you should have a sustained income. Then it will come on board. If there are rough edges, State House will come in to perfect the customers' needs so that can meet the requirement of EcoBank.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market.
On coil.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. To our first story, the 2026 World Cup trophy made a stop in Abidjan this afternoon as part of a tour to selected countries ahead of the summer showpiece. My colleague Oreku Ampofo is stationed in Ivory Coast and put together this report.
Tens of thousands of fans have gathered here at the Sofitel Hotel in Abidjan to just get a glimpse of the FIFA World Cup trophy. And remember that this is part of the usual activation that goes on between Coca-Cola and FIFA World Cup. As a long-term partner, Coca-Cola have exclusive rights to take the trophy around separate countries to get a feel of it. And this has been going on for 20 years. This is the 6th time. And on this edition, Ivory Coast are the only African country who are going to get access to the trophy. And so many, not just Ivorians, but a lot of people from West African countries have made their way here to Abidjan to just get a feel. Now, this will happen. You just have to buy a bottle of Coca-Cola, and then you get access into the dome, where you get about 3 seconds with your phone, and you get a picture with that 18-karat gold trophy that every country would want to lay their hands on later in this year in the World Cup in US, Canada, and then Mexico. A lot of dignitaries are around, including FIFA legend Marcel Desailly, who also says that he believes an African country can't get to the final of the World Cup this year. It's not just about the trophy. Much later tonight, there will be a party here with a concert outside. There are many people still trooping in to get a picture. Once you're done with the picture, you can go out there and have a good concert and enjoy yourself. And so I'm sure we'll probably be here till midnight just to make sure that everyone gets a taste of history. Oreku Ampofo from Sofitel, Abidjan, for 3 Sports.
To some other stories, Morocco's Football Federation said it would appeal disciplinary sanctions and fines imposed by the Confederation of African Football, that is CAF, after the chaotic scenes at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations final against Senegal last month. The Royal Moroccan Football Federation was fined a total of $315,000 last month, added to bans against 2 of its players in Hakimi and Saibari. In a statement, the FRMF said it would lodge an appeal, quote, in order to preserve all rights guaranteed by the regulations, citing, quote, non-conformity of these sanctions with the extent of seriousness of the incidents that occurred. Now to our final story. Last season, Nations FC were on the brink of history, pursuing a first Ghana Premier League title, but ultimately fell short to eventual winners, that is BBN Gold Stars, in the final stretch of the season. However, the start of the 2025-26 campaign has been a different story, with managerial tweaks affecting the club's rhythm. Emmanuel Owusu takes us inside the Kumasi-based club, exploring their challenges, changes and ambitions this season.
Frimpong Manson, the former coach who guided BBN Gold Stars to their first ever silverware, has stepped in to rebuild the team mid-season. His task is clear: transform a squad in transition and restore hope to fans eager for success. But the challenges are real. Nations FC have lost key players, including top scorers Emmanuel Ano and Faisal Chawate, alongside stalwart Samuel Osei-Kuffour and Prince Bedu. The team now sits 9th on the Ghana Premier League log with 27 points after 21 games, far from league leaders Mediama. Coach Frimpong Manson, however, is candid about the situation.
We are not talking about winning the league, no. Now we need to make sure we put the team in a very good position. But to talk about the title now, no, that one, I don't think we are considering that at the moment. Yeah. No, for now. Maybe we can talk about the FA Cup, but the league, I think, is going to be very, very, very difficult. Yeah.
For Frimpong Manson, the mission is clear: to secure a silverware before the end of his 2-year contract. It's a season of rebuilding, of resilience, and of fighting against the odds. Nations FC may have stumbled early, but the fight is far from over.
It's not been easy. Yes, of course, there are a lot of things that we needed to stabilize, try to steady, do additions, and then the other things. So it has not been that easy, but I think we are on track now. So yes, going forward, I think things can come back to normal. Yeah.
Deputy Captain Robin Sanon shares the optimism.
Last season, as we started the league, we were having experienced players, like matured players, and this time around, let me say we are now, like we are blending some young players inside, so we are now sitting up. So I'm sure this second round things will change because we are now knowing ourselves. Then things, yeah, it affects us a lot. But now they recruit some players, and now they are also trying. They are also pushing hard. So I'm sure things will change. Things will be the same. It's not going to be like if they left, maybe we will find it difficult that maybe we can't win our games or something like that. We are going to win.
Nations FC will face Ahoy United in their next Ghana Premier League clash away from home as they hope to reignite hope for fans as the season unfolds.
That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. There's more on the bulletin after the break.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyle and Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil, powered by 3 Entertainment.
Hello and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. I'm Miss Yedwa Afenyu. We rather start off on a sad note. Renowned American gospel singer, worship leader and pastor Ron Kenoly has passed away at the age of 81. His death was announced by his longtime music director by social media, sparking tribute from the global Christian music community. Best known for his powerful live worship recordings, Kenoly rose to international fame with his 1992 album Lift Him Up. Songs like Ancient of Days and Jesus is Alive became worship anthems in churches around the world. Beyond music, he served as a pastor at Jubilee Christian Center in San Jose, California, and ministered widely across the globe, particularly in Africa. Ron Kenoly leaves behind a lasting legacy as a pioneer of modern praise and worship music.
Every tongue in heaven and earth shall declare your glory. Every knee shall bow at your throne. In worship, you will be exalted, O God, and your
May his soul rest in peace. Now let's bring you some arts and entertainment tidbits from the world of showbiz.
It's a cocktail, a local narcotic. It is no one. Thank you, sir.
The Blockstar International Film Festival, BSIFF, has opened its main submissions window for its 11th edition, following the close of the early submissions phase. The festival, a key platform for African and diaspora cinema, is accepting entries across multiple categories via www.filmfreeway.com/BSIFF, including Ghanaian Showcase or this year, International Showcase, Documentary, Animation, Music Film, Africa Rising, Series, Skits, Student Film, and AI-generated films. The upcoming edition will be held in Kumasi in the Ashanti region as BSIFF continues its commitment to filmmaker development, community-based cinema, and amplifying African stories globally.
Hi, Mr. President. Congratulations. Did you watch it? I did not. Yeah, I will see it on the news.
The Melania Trump documentary has outperformed expectations, earning more than $7 million at the U.S. box office in its opening weekend, above initial projections of about $5 million. Amazon reportedly spent $40 million on the film's rights and a further $35 million on marketing. While audiences have responded positively, giving it an A cinema score and a 99% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes, critics have been far less impressed with the film holding a 10% critic score. Despite questions over Amazon's costly deal and suggestions of political motivations, the company says it's licensed the film solely because it believes audiences will enjoy it.
Everyone wants to know. So here it is.
That's it for entertainment. I'm Esiedua Afenyi. Over to you, Portia.
Thank you so much. Coming up, international news.
The Sudanese army says it has broken a years-long siege on the city of Kadugli, potentially providing tens of thousands of people a reprieve from famine and signaling a shift in the war's momentum. The conflict between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces RSF has displaced millions drawn in regional powers and caused a vast humanitarian crisis since it broke out in April 2023. Its latest front line is the Greater Kordofan region, which the RSF began sweeping through after the rainy season ended late last year. The RSF did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Kadugli and nearby Al Dalanj had been under siege on and off since the start of the war. There was an escalation in fighting after the SPLMN, which controls territory in the state and elsewhere, joined forces with the RSF last year. Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky has said Russia has used a record number of ballistic missiles to target Ukraine's energy sector. The combined missile and drone strikes hit power plants and infrastructure in Kyiv and multiple locations, causing the most powerful blow so far this year. The strikes were launched as temperatures dropped to 20 degrees Celsius and left more than 1,000 tower blocks in the capital without heating once again.
That's it for the News 360 bulletin for today. My name is Martin Esiedudati. Thank you so much for watching.
And I am Portia Gabo. Good evening.